So today I wanted to continue our gender intelligence discussion. If you've been watching my stories, we've been talking a lot about how to relieve stress and how to essentially hack your hormones in order to feel greater states of happiness and harmony and well-being. And today I wanted to extend that discussion to how to reduce resentment in a relationship, because resentment kills passion. It's one of the number one killers of passion and connection in a relationship. But that means that the reverse is also true. So passion, increasing passion and feelings of connection and love kills resentment. Now, I thought this was so intriguing, this piece of information that I'm about to share with you. It is so powerful. As women, when our oxytocin levels are high, now remember, oxytocin is one of our most important chemicals in our body that helps us to feel states of love and happiness, and it helps to relieve stress in our body on a biochemical level. When our oxytocin levels are high, it is impossible energetically as well as physically. It is impossible to feel resentment. Now, I want you to consider how powerful that statement is, because that means that we literally and essentially can control whether or not we move into resentment into our relationship, within our relationship, how often we may move into that, and how to take ourselves out of that state. So I've written some notes from some downloads and some thoughts that I was having around this topic so I can stay on track. And I want to share some tips with you, because this stuff is game changer. This will absolutely change the quality of your relationships. So when you're in a state of love, as I said, it's physically and energetically impossible to feel resentment. So when we talk about energetically, our focus becomes our manifestation. So when we consciously choose to move into states of love and gratitude, one of the easiest ways to do this is through appreciation and feeling gratitude in your being, not just thinking and feeling can move you from your head to your heart. One of my favorite topics to talk to women about is how to move from I consciousness, where we're stuck in our head and we are self-obsessing. So why are you doing this to me? This is how I feel. I. When we can practice the art of shifting from I consciousness to one consciousness, which is when we drop down into our heart space and we become one with everything around us. We connect energetically with the people and the world around us in a state of love and gratitude. You cannot feel states of fear, stress, or anxiety or resentment when you are in that state of oneness. Okay. And then biochemically, if we choose behaviors and rituals that drive up oxytocin in our bodies, we cannot feel states of anxiety and resentment. I just find that so incredibly empowering, because it means that I can consciously choose behaviors that help me stay in harmony and help my relationship flourish. So it is so crucial. We live in a world where we have stresses on us every day, particularly as women. Okay, so we wear many hats. We talked about this the other day. We wear so many hats that drive up our stress hormones, and that makes our oxytocin plummet. So it's important to balance out each day with behaviors that help to raise our oxytocin. And if we believe the notion that 90% of our happiness is our responsibility as women, and only 10% is our partner's responsibility. So that means that it is up to us to be happy. It is our responsibility to be happy. It is our partner's job only to make us happier. Okay. Now, men, if you're listening, do not underestimate the power of that overflow of that extra 10%, because that extra 10% is where you will get the most radiant, open, receptive partner, right? Which is very fulfilling to you mentally and physically. But it means that both partners essentially have responsibility in this, and it works both ways. Okay, so if I was talking to a woman, there would be my cat ruining my furniture behind me. Women also have responsibility for showing up for their partner in order to lower their stress levels and increase their happy love hormones to reduce resentment in the relationship too. But we're focused on women right now. So it means that you both have responsibility in cultivating behaviors, okay, that keep your oxytocin levels high. So ladies, you need to stop putting your self-nurture last. We automatically, it is ingrained in us as women to nurture everybody else before ourselves. I often find myself structuring my days around what everybody else needs. And when I do that consistently for a long period of time, I start to grow resentment for my children and for my partner. And what I've realized is that's actually my responsibility, because I'm setting myself up to fail and to move into resentment by doing that. And so it's so important that I stay grounded and connected to my rituals, because it's not a luxury. It's not a luxury to take time out for myself. It is a necessity in order for me to be able to show up feminine and radiant and flowing and playful and fun and free. I need to do those things that balance my hormones. Now, as a reminder, those things that you may schedule into your diary, the things that I schedule in are time out with girlfriends, coffee catch-ups, phone calls. Women need to talk. When you talk with girlfriends, this increases your oxytocin. You can't rely on your partner being that person all the time. It's an unfair expectation, and it doesn't work long-term once you're out of the honeymoon period. You cannot outsource everything to your partner. And that can be one of the resentments in our relationship, is we feel that our partners are not satiating our needs. But the truth is, they're not supposed to carry that weight of being everything. You need to outsource some of those things to your friends, to your family, and just to yourself, right? Being able to be happy and free in your own space. One of my favorite things to do in the afternoon before the children come home is to light incense, meditate, listen to beautiful feminine flowing music, and just breathe and honor myself. I have self-care days where I go and get a facial, or I go and get my hair done, or I go shopping. It's so important to make time and space for yourself in order for you to reduce your own stress and to come to a space of happiness and openness, so that you can receive your family and your loved ones with a happy heart, free of resentment. Energetically, chemically, this works. Like, it's just, I love it. I love this stuff. Men, you need to keep doing the things that you did in the beginning of the relationship. Now, the way a man's mind works is he thinks that once he's done those things in the beginning and he's got your attention, he's got your love, he doesn't need to do those things anymore because he's succeeded. And what he doesn't understand is women need those things consistently, those small things on a daily basis, in order to keep their oxytocin levels high. And it's simple things like being noticed, being told that she's beautiful every day, like just stopping and being present with how she looks and how she feels, asking about her day, making her feel seen, that you have interest in what's going on for her for the day, allowing her time to share without the need to fix anything. The beautiful text message in the middle of the day, just letting her know that you're thinking of her. These things are so simple, and they are so incredibly powerful. You literally get the same points. If you brought home $100 bunch of flowers, you would get the same points if you picked a flower from the next door neighbor's rose bush and came inside from your long day at work. And that moment of thoughtfulness, you get the same points either way. Like, it's so easy to win with women. The challenge for men is their behaviors that aren't typically ingrained in their being, because men don't need these things, right? They're not things that men think of to increase the love that they feel. So sometimes it does take some conscious effort. Although they're simple, it's not always easy to remember. So I recommend placing a alarm in your phone in the middle of the day or whenever you're not going to be near your lover, to remind you every day to just stop and do something thoughtful. That one thoughtful thing will expand her heart and increase her energy and happiness to a level that you just cannot underestimate the power of that. And you win, because when you come home, she's going to be receptive and open to your energy. She feels seen, she feels loved, she feels cherished, she feels safe. She's going to want to be intimate with you physically and mentally and emotionally. So the other thing I just wanted to share, just for some extra enlightenment tips, is, ladies, a man's number one complaint in a relationship is she is never happy. It is, I can honestly not reiterate enough, and I say it over and over again, it is your job to be happy in yourself and fulfill that within yourself, because when you're not happy, he feels like he's failing. And that is what causes a man to build incredible resentment in the relationship and towards you, is that nothing he does makes you happy. So remember, it's his job only to make you happier. It's that extra bonus, okay? But it's your job to ensure that your happiness is full and that you're not outsourcing that from him all the time, because that is an impossible task for him to accomplish day in, day out. And just on a side note, I want to add, if you're in the dating world, men, choose women who are already happy, because you'll be able to succeed with them. They're already happy without you. You are not the source of their happiness. And women, get happy before you start dating. Understand how to be happy in your own world by yourself. And then it's just that extra overflow when you meet that energetic match. Men, women's number one complaint is men don't listen, and they feel invisible. So if you can just create space at the end of every day just to be present for 10 minutes to help her feel seen and heard and loved and cherished, without the need to butt in, without the need to solve or fix anything, to just let women talk. That's how we resolve things in our head. That's how we release stress, is by using our words, which is completely opposite to men. And that's why it's a challenge. Men want to withdraw and they typically don't use words to relieve stress, and we are the opposite. So if you can just become that king who can hold space for your woman and just allow her to vent for 10 minutes and just keep it zipped up and just be interested. I had a beautiful coaching call with my coach, Richard, this week, and it was just phenomenal. And he asked, what our definition of love was. And his definition that he gave us was deep interest. When you think about the people that you love in your life, you have deep interest in them. You have deep interest in your children, what they do in their day. And thinking to our relationships, when we initiate a relationship in that honeymoon phase, we have deep interest in that person. They're always on our mind. We want to know what they're up to. We care about how they feel. And as resentment sets in, we start to give less time to be interested. Now, it's not to say that in our hearts, we're not deeply interested anymore. Like, that may not be our truth, that we're not. But through our action, we're not showing that we are deeply interested consistently. And that's because we stopped doing the things that we did in the beginning. If we consistently did the things that we did in the beginning and we continued to show that deep interest, then resentment would not build, and there would never be an end to that relationship. And the reason why we feel so good in the honeymoon phase is because all of those amazing love chemicals are at an all-time high from our behaviors. We're engaging in behaviors that boost our happy love chemicals. So if we can bring that consciousness to our relationships and to our lives, and each take responsibility for that, then essentially we can sustain that love and that honeymoon phase throughout a lifetime. And obviously, the longer you're together, the more important it is to bring awareness and consciousness every single day to showing up in a way that meets each other's needs, that boosts those love chemicals. And as I've shared before, for women, that is helping them feel seen and being present and being with them and being thoughtful. And women, for men, it's giving them time out and space, giving them time to, men are a lot more simple. It's funny because I have this list of 100 ways to boost oxytocin in women. And there's not a list for men of 100 ways, because they don't need 100 ways. They are so much more simple and uncomplicated than women. They literally just need a few simple things. And, you know, that is time out with the boys, cave time. And then we, I don't know if I can say this on Instagram, but feed him, make passionate love to him. There's obviously another word that I usually use for that. And just appreciate him, show him appreciation every day, and he will just be so happy and fulfilled within the relationship, and that will keep resentment at bay on his side. And how lucky is it for us? It's actually really simple. They're the ones with the tough job, we're the complicated ones. But the truth is, what women need is so simple. They don't need the big gestures over and over again. They just need the small little things day in, day out. Yesterday no longer counts. This is a challenge for men. You think because you told her that she's beautiful yesterday, and you said, I love you yesterday, and you brought flowers a week ago, that gives you at least 6 months. And the truth is, women need little things every single day. So bring this awareness and consciousness to your relationships. Take responsibility, each of you, and have a relationship commitment. These are the 2 commitments that I consciously meditate on within my relationship. We protect each other from harm. And that means that we consciously choose behaviors that do not cause harm to the other. So we speak respectfully. We never engage in conflict that is disrespectful, or, you know, takes on tones that, you know, you can't return from saying or doing things in certain ways. And the other one is we bring out the best in each other. So imagine every day, starting every day, saying, how am I going to bring out the best in my partner today? What am I going to say? What are the actions that I'm going to take in order to bring out their best? Because we can bring out the worst in our partners, and we can bring out the best. And if we decide every day that it's our job and responsibility to bring their best out, then that stuff is game changer. And it doesn't mean that you get it perfect every single time. But the more love and connection you cultivate through doing that more often, the more ease and grace you get to move through conflict, and the quicker you can come back to a state of harmony and connection within your relationship. So I hope that's helpful. I will pop the list that I shared on my stories at the end of this video of things that you can do to increase oxytocin, which means that you physically cannot, at the same time, with high oxytocin levels, you cannot feel resentment in your relationship. Game changer. Make sure that you implement this today, and make sure that you both take responsibility in this and meeting each other's needs. Hope you have an amazing day. Thanks for tuning in.